Mikey.
And Daniel.
Where are you from?
America.
Now we are in a very famous restaurant named Juji, which is like a rival of Din Tai Fung restaurant. So we come here to have some fried rice and xiao long bao here. And here you can see this soup is a sour spicy soup. Yeah, so please enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you can put some like soy sauce in the plate to dip like xiao long bao.
Oh, that's vinegar. That's vinegar. Oh, I see. I'll take some.
So back in the US, do you have this kind of Chinese style food a lot?
I don't have it too often, but they have it where Chinese people live, like on the West Coast.
Oh, wow.
I haven't had xiaolongbao until I came here.
Oh, that's great.
你好，这边核对一下，是一个58号房，那小米粥先生，他选菜的话是红心菜。对，谢谢。
Very hard, you got to be careful.
Good. That's good.
So before came to Taiwan, do you have any like stereotype? Do you know anything about Taiwan?
Yeah, I knew a little about like the history and stuff, and like I'm Japanese, and so it's like a lot of Japanese people go to Taiwan for vacation. So it's like I kind of had a vibe of what it was. It's like places like Longchangzi and like places like that. So I guess for me, I also knew a little bit of the history, but I had some Taiwanese friends in university, so they told me a lot about some of the famous places there and the food.
That's great. Wow.
Taiwan has a pretty good image, and America has like a place with good food. And especially Japanese people love the food, so.
So back in the US, do you cook a lot or eat out more?
We cook a lot more. It's like I've noticed since coming to Taiwan, everybody always eats out. It's so cheap.
Yeah, it was odd to me here. I didn't know that everyone usually eats out here. Because in America, yeah, we eat out probably 95. I mean, we cook our own food 95% of the time.
But if you want to have like xiao long bao, how are you going to make by yourself?
You don't. That's a special occasion.
Okay.
So in America, it's like if you want to get good dim sum or whatever, it's like for me it'd be like an hour-long drive, like 1 hour drive.
Really?
Yeah.
So you say in US it's very expensive to eat out. So does it encourage people to run their own maybe restaurant or business more?
No. There's not a lot of
It doesn't
restaurants.
make as much money.
Or they didn't make much money
No.
from.
It's because if you open a restaurant, not a lot of people are eating out anyway. So it's like
Because I heard if you eat out in US you have to pay tax and tips.
tips, yeah.
How much percentage is the tips?
It used to be around 15%, and now with the pandemic, it's been rising.
It's about 20%.
18%, 20%. Some places want 25%. It's like technically you can always write your own tip, but sometimes it's like considered like rude to do a low tip. So.
So we can write our own tips.
Yeah.
You can, but if you leave like a $1 tip,
They'll punch you. No, they won't punch you, but they'll be really.
They'll spit in your drink.
Yeah.
So it's like an unwritten rule.
It's an unwritten rule. Yeah. It's like you have to tip, or like it's like if you don't tip when you're out with like if you're on a date and you don't tip, the girl will think you're like cheap or like this guy's a terrible person.
The Xiaoqi.
Okay.
So
when you eat out with maybe girls in the US, normally guys pay or like
Guys pay,
like
but I'm-
split the bill.
usually guys pay, but I'm broke, so I never pay.
College students usually split the
college
bill.
students
If
split.
they're friends, they'll split the bill. Sometimes, I guess now, like more significant others will like take turns. At least
Only
it,
first time.
first time is a good impression.
First time, yeah.
It's a
like
good impression.
a decent amount. I don't because I think I don't want to set the expectation because I can't afford to pay for them every
No
time.
worries, yeah, no
So I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm broke. I have no money. If you still want to hang out with me, then great. It's like, Do Taiwanese people eat rice like this? Like this?
Yes, we
Wait.
hold our bowl.
Because Japanese people do it like this, but like I know it's in Korea it's like rude. You have to eat
In
like
Korea,
that.
they put bowls on the table.
Oh, really?
Japanese people they just slurp it. It's like.
After came to Taiwan, would you like to maybe live in Asia in the future? Because like everything is very convenient and cheaper than US.
I mean, Asia overall, it's like I like living in Japan because I've lived there before, and it's not that much cheaper than America though. It's like
Yeah,
expensive. It's like
like Japan is like the most expensive in Asia.
I mean, Hong Kong I heard is super expensive. So Taiwan, I mean, it'd be nice to pay Taiwan prices for food. Like living in Taipei, it's like there's enough Western stuff to where it's like I don't feel totally lost. But living in Taipei would be cool. I mean, you do, but
I agree.
fuck you.
I really like it somewhere.
Did you find a lot of difference between like Japan and Taiwan?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Kind of difference.
at first it looks very similar. Like, well, flying on an airplane, it looks like Japan, but it's like there's a lot different. Like, nobody rides scooters. Like a Dita
Oh, there's so
in
many
Japan.
scooters.
No Dita.
No scooters in
Nope.
Japan.
No. Only just a few.
Oh really?
And Japanese people, I don't know, they don't eat out as much. It's like America, they eat more at home and stuff. And I mean, Japanese language and Chinese language is very different too. It's like, so there's a lot of small things that are different. Like Family Mart Chinja, it's like the melody in Japan is different from the melody in Taiwan when you enter and leave. In Japan, it goes like dun 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 dun. In Taiwan, it's a different melody. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So American students do part-time job a lot.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them do.
I work at a cafe kind of place.
I researched with a professor, so
I get paid I get paid like an okay amount for America, but like in Taiwan dollars is a lot. It's like 1 hour, like 450块.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But America's expensive, so like
it's
cancels
expensive.
that.
Yeah, so
It's like high pay, high cost.
high cost.
So when you met Taiwanese students in US, do you find any difference? Like
They complain about bushiban.
oh,
Because
so it's not a culture in US.
What did they complain about?
private like cram school.
Oh yeah.
But like
No cram schools in the U.S.
Well,
there is.
no.
Come on. But it's mostly it's not mainstream to go
Not
to.
yet.
Yeah.
It depends on where you go.
A lot of Asian families will send their kids
It's like cram school still.
but like most Americans don't really go to
Don't-
cram school.
yeah.
They more focus on like extracurriculars like sports or like clubs while they're in high school to be more appealing to colleges because it's not just like one big test that gets into college, it's how much you do as a
How
person.
well rounded you are.